Welcome. You're listening to the Healthy Moving Podcast, the show all about helping you to exercise less, but move more so that you will feel better. I am your healthy moving enthusiast, Jen Hoffman of stayathomeyoga.com. It's my birthday week, which always sends me into a reflective state. So today we're talking about the big stuff. That's really the small stuff, our choices and their effects. Plus, I'm going to answer a listener question about how best to sit while chillin' in front of the TV at the end of the day. I've got lots of good stuff for you, so stick around. This past weekend, my grandfather, my mom's dad, celebrated his 89th birthday. And in just a few days, I'm going to celebrate my 38th birthday. I don't remember realizing or considering the proximity of our birthdays until Grandpa's 80th. But now it's become a kind of annual ritual for me to ponder the 51-year span between us during this week each year. For most of my life, Grandpa and I lived on opposite sides of the country, and sadly, I haven't spent as much time with him as I hope and pray my grandkids will one day spend with me. Yet, there is this undeniable connection between our lives. I feel it, or at least notice it most, during our birthday week, but it's certainly there all the time. So this past weekend, I've been pondering, what is it that connects one generation to subsequent generations, particularly when we don't share many common stories or memories? It's more than shared blood type and genes, that's for sure. This weekend, I peppered my mom with questions about Grandpa and about Grandma and about my mom's childhood growing up with them. As I listened to the stories, it hit me. The thing that connects us to someone, even when we don't know them very well, is their choices, or more specifically, the residue of their choices. You see, while we might not think about it all the time, all of our actions, our choices, leave a residue behind. They aren't over in the moment. They echo throughout our lives, and sometimes even the lives of our children and our children's children. Of course, it's easy to see this with our big choices, like my grandparents moved across the country from Michigan to Southern California when my mom was a little girl. That choice set the stage for years later, my parents to meet, fall in love, marry, and one day have me as their child. But this weekend, as I was listening to my mom's stories, I started to think about the echo of even our small choices. Of course, because I'm a healthy moving enthusiast, I immediately thought about the residue of my movement choices. Like my regular choice to take my kids for long walks. How will that habit echo in their lives, and maybe even in the lives of my grandchildren? It's so easy when I'm making a big decision to consider its ripple effects. But rarely do I do this with life's everyday choices. Yet, the residue of those small, ordinary actions and choices adds up. So start here with me this week, friends. Take a moment right now to consider your current movement diet. What do you know about the long-term results of your movement habits? What residue are they leaving behind? Is how you're moving good for you both today and a few decades from now? Or maybe you're doing something that you'll regret down the line when you have knee or back trouble. Maybe you can even see how your movement choices might echo in the lives of others. If you're not happy with the residue of your current movement choices, start with something very simple. Take a walk. Outside if you can, and bonus points if you can do it on grass or dirt instead of on pavement. In honor of my 38th birthday, I'm trying to walk 38 miles this week. You don't have to do that much. Just walk a little more than you normally do. I think you'll be grateful for the residue this leaves behind. And while you're on your walk, maybe you can think about some of your other small choices, like how you greet a loved one when they walk in the door, or what you say to someone who's sad or down, or even something as simple as what time you go to bed at night. Let your movement inspire your life, and your life inspire your movement. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment with this week's Q&A.
Hi, Jen. I'm wondering if you have recommendations regarding a comfortable yet healthy way to sit while watching TV. I find in those rare times that I want to relax, but I end up slouching with my feet up and or getting a sore crick neck and maybe undoing all the work from the day. Thanks and have a good day.
This is such a great question. I know almost everyone watches some TV at least a few times a week. I'm not here to make you feel guilty or bad about doing that. I do it myself. But I have a very simple tip to help make your time that you spend in front of the TV a little bit healthier for your body. The simple suggestion is get off your furniture and onto the floor. Now, if you haven't spent much time sitting on the floor prior to this, we're going to have to do some work in order to make that comfortable for you. But let me tell you why it's better. On the couch, you're able to settle in. It doesn't even matter specifically the position that your body's in. What I'm more concerned about is the fact that you can stay there for a long period of time without moving at all. We're just not designed to do that. That's not optimal for our health. So instead, if you move down to the floor, you'll find yourself naturally moving and changing positions during the time that you're watching TV. So if you haven't been sitting on the floor, you need some props, some pillows or folded blankets, something that you can sit on. And you'll want to start small. If you haven't been sitting on the floor at all, just try to do 10 minutes of your time watching TV on the floor. There's a couple positions I like. First of all, seated on some blankets, on the edge of some blankets so that your pelvis can kind of tilt forward. I like to take the legs out wide in a V. This is simply called a V sit. It's super simple and a nice way to stretch out the backs of your legs while you're watching TV. Make sure you're sitting on your sit bones and not your tailbone and your sacrum. So roll the pelvis forward. And sitting on blankets or pillows will help ensure that that happens comfortably for you. Now, if you're really looking to relax, then I like to prop up a yoga bolster or a couple of couch cushions, even a rolled sleeping bag, and recline back on that, taking the soles of my feet together and the knees bend out to the sides. This is called the reclining bound angle, or sometimes called Queen's or King's pose. You can put a couple pillows or blankets under your knees as well, and just lay back there and relax in that position if you're really looking to lounge back. In the show notes for episode 15 at healthymovingpodcast.com, I'll include links for several stay-at-home yoga videos that give you some good tips for even small movements that you can do on the floor while you're watching TV. You can get healthy moving in while you watch TV. It just takes getting off the couch in order to make it happen. Thanks for such a great question. So what questions do you have about how to weave healthy movement into the fabric of your day? Where are you having a pain or ache that you feel could be alleviated by moving better? Call me at 201-580-MOVE or just click the Leave Me a Message link over at healthymovingpodcast.com. I would love to answer your questions on the show. While you're over there at healthymovingpodcast.com, go ahead and enter your email address and click the blue Get Access Now button to join me each month for a free live online healthy moving class. And if you're enjoying the show, I need your help. Would you please go over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review? It helps others to find the podcast, plus it helps me to improve the show. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, friends, keep moving.